Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the LUFCFANZONE Podcast. I'm Sam Isles.
And I'm Jack Ellis.
And each episode we'll be talking to an ex-Leeds United player or manager about their time at the club.
All of our episodes can be found on our LUFCFANZONE YouTube channel, as well as Spotify and Apple Podcast. And last episode, we were with former Leeds United set-piece coach Gianni Vio to speak about Leeds' current set-piece problems, listening to his incredible football knowledge about corners and free kicks, and how he would attempt to improve Leeds' current set plays.
This week, with a football agent and someone who currently represents Leeds United defender Diego Llorente. He played a key role in Llorente's transfer to Ellen Road a couple of months ago and also represents 36 other players. However, Llorente is his most valuable client. Because we've not had an agent on the show before, we plan to find out exactly what a football agent does and how influential they can be in modern-day football, as well as how Llorente's switch to Leeds panned out. This week, with football agent Gelu Rodriguez and his interpreter, Diego Llorente. Thank you so much for joining us.
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good, thank you. Good.
Thank you.
Just to start with, Gelu, usually on this podcast, we speak with former Leeds United players and managers, but obviously today is slightly different and you're the first ever football agent to feature on our show. So because of that, would you just be able to describe to our listeners what the role of a football agent actually is and what you do?
Well, it's only one thing, you know. We have a lot of jobs. The more important thing is that you know how is your player, his mentality, his quality in the pitch, and then you need to know how is the market of the soccer, you know, because if you can have a very good player for Spain, or other player for England or for other leagues. The more important thing is that you know the market.
And how did you first get into becoming a football agent? Because it's something which is becoming more and more popular within modern football.
Well, when I was young in my city, I worked in sports shops. Every players that in the club of my city, Sporting de Gijón, stay in these shops. They ask me about a lot of things, the boots, the clothes, the sponsor of for his clothes and his contract. 22 years ago, I started in this with the relationships with the players, with the clubs in my city, and them in other city, Madrid, in every Spain. And today I'm here. I don't know. It's the life.
And like most agents, you have quite a few clients, don't you? 37 to be exact. And most of them are Spanish clients, ranging from young and upcoming players who mainly play in Spain, and some more experienced players such as Sergi Canos, who plays at Brentford. However, arguably your most valuable client is Leeds' new arrival, Diego Llorente. How long have you been working with Diego, and how does the partnership start? Did you approach Diego or did he approach you?
Too many years ago, Diego played in Real Madrid Castilla, the second team of Real Madrid. I watched the game. I think that I like it. Diego. I called him and I asked about of his agent. He told me that in this moment he changed in. He thinks in change his agent. It's like you see a girl in the street. If you like, you ask, you talk with she. It's the same. And I talked with Diego for 1 month approximately. He introduced me his family. I like it, his atmosphere, and we married.
And Leeds is Diego's third permanent club. And like you just mentioned, he started in Real Madrid's B team and then moved to Real Sociedad in 2017. And then obviously to Leeds this summer. Did you help him with his move from Real Madrid to Real Sociedad? Or was his switch to Leeds your first transfer with Diego?
Sí, contéstale. Dile que sí desde que estamos en el filial, que estamos con él.
Gelu said that he's with Diego since the beginning. Since they started talking each other when he was in Real Madrid B. Then they immediately, after 1 month, started working together, and of course he made all the run together with Diego from Madrid B to Malaga first. I think he was on loan. Then he went back to Madrid, and then Gelu made the transfer to Real Sociedad and now to Leeds.
And was the switch over to England ever a problem for Diego? Because obviously there's a lot of differences between Spain and England. And Diego's never played outside of Spain before, and it would have been a big commitment for him to move to a different country.
Yeah.
Sí, en algún momento te creo alguna género de duda.
No. In every moment, we think that the Premier League is perfect for Diego. When Diego played in Malaga in January 2017, I remember. Stoke City make it an offer for Diego, for buy Diego, and Stoke City talked with Real Madrid, and they liked Diego. And then in the next summer, other club in England call us, but the Real Sociedad doesn't like to sell the player, and not possible for Diego. But Diego. Too many years ago, thinking in Premier League, honestly.
And when were you first aware that Leeds wanted to sign Diego? Because usually at Leeds, players are linked to the club a few weeks and sometimes even months before the deal is confirmed through the media and Sky Sports and things like that. However, Diego's transfer to Leeds seemed to come out of nowhere to the fans because the first report of it potentially happening came just under 24 hours before it was made official.
Yes, this is because we are very professional, when the journalist knows every details, is a problem because some deals is broken because the news journalists the TV is. Make a lot of pressure, and the clubs and the chairman or the fans is a lot of pressure for the deal, and it's very difficult. In this situation, Victor Horta is for me is top sport director. Is very, very professional. I know that Marcelo Bielsa, is the doctor of the soccer. Is he knows Diego because when he was in La Lazio in Italy, he asked about of Diego, and I think that this deal. We did very fast because they have very clear 100% that Diego is good for Leeds, I think, is my opinion.
And did Diego have any other interested clubs before his move to Leeds came up?
Yeah, sí, tenía muchos intereses. It's public that Monaco was interested, of course.
Yeah, habla tú ahí, cuéntaselo tú.
But then... because Monaco, they tried to sign Diego already in last winter, and then they got in contact. They stay in contact with Real Sociedad because at the end of the day they couldn't realize the transfer in last winter. But then there were also many clubs from different countries that asked about his situation. Obviously, it was not an easy transfer to do, especially in these moments we are living. But as Gelu said before, Leeds was very keen to sign him since the first approach they make to Gelu, and it was quite quick because it's also you know I know that you are from there, and for you it's more hot the situation, but Marcelo Bielsa is very attractive also for the Spanish. He was here, he was in Spain, he did very well, and for any player nowadays, I think it's a man to work with. So that's why I think it was matching so good, and it was made very quick.
How do the first stages of a transfer work in football today? Because, for example, in the Llorente deal, how does it work? Do Leeds approach Real Sociedad first and then bid and get the bid accepted, or do they go straight to you as the agent?
No, the steps of the deal, the Leeds United is a big club. Leeds asked before to Real Sociedad, and when Real Sociedad say you can talk with the player, Leeds United call me and ask about the interest of Diego for play in Premier League, but it's very very fast because the three part has very clear how is the best for each one.
And I presume Victor Orta led the negotiations on behalf of Leeds. And I know you've talked about him before in a high regard, but have you ever dealt with Victor before? And what was it like to negotiate with him?
Well, directly no, but other colleagues of my group in this moment, yes, in Sevilla. Victor Orta is a very good guy, but in the negotiation, I lose one eye. He's very, very, very strong, but very, very honestly, when finish the negotiation, como se dice, te da la mano y está bien.
When the negotiation is finished, he gives you his hand. You shake hands with him, and it's done, and it's well done.
Yeah, we've seen that famous big bear hug that he gives to people as soon as transfers are confirmed. But
he's very passionate. But
definitely.
But he's also very aggressive with his club. It's as Gelu said, we all know that he's a top professional. That's why he's making his career out there.
Yeah, and in the summer, it was clear to Leeds fans that the side needed to sign at least one central defender for the Premier League after the promotion from the Championship. And the first to arrive was Robin Koch from Freiburg. However, after Koch's arrival, Leeds were linked with a second centre-back in Dinamo Zagreb's Josko Gvardiol. And Gvardiol seemed set to move to Leeds. However, he eventually moved to Leipzig in the same week that Llorente joined Leeds. Were you aware of Gvardiol potentially moving to Leeds? And how much did the failure of that deal happening affect Llorente's arrival at Leeds?
No, dile que no tiene nada que ver, que creemos que no tiene nada que ver y que es una pregunta para el club, no para nosotros.
Gelu says that it's in fact it's an answer as a question for the club, for Leeds, because we didn't know about this. To be honest, it's the first time I heard this about this player. It didn't have, I guess, any impact in the move of Diego. You know that how it works in football. There are a lot of gossip, but they came straight to Real Sociedad, then to Gelu, and then the deal was done after a negotiation, of course.
And it was reported that Leeds paid around £18 million for Llorente, which makes him the joint most expensive Leeds United defender in history, along with Rio Ferdinand, who joined in the year 2000 from West Ham. And once Leeds made that bid and the bid was accepted by Real Sociedad, what is the next step for you as the agent? Do you begin talking to Leeds about a potential contract, or is that all sorted before the figure is agreed with Sociedad?
Bueno, más o menos se fue encaminando todo a la vez.
It was more or less all together, because as we said, it was quite quick. So it was Leeds ask permission to Real Sociedad to talk with the player. Then they contact Gelu, and then at the same time they were, because Gelu, as we said, Diego had many different interests, and the interest, for example, the deal with Monaco was very close to happen. So at the end of the day, we all knew the numbers of the deal, more or less. And so there, Leeds makes his negotiation with Real Sociedad, and then at the same time, they will start negotiating with Gelu about the contract of Diego.
And to the contract itself, obviously we won't speak about the figures because that's private and confidential, but how is a contract agreed? Do you go to Leeds and propose the numbers and figures what your client is after, or is Leeds the first one to suggest the offer, and then is it a case of you accept or negotiate around that?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the condition of the global condition of the contract, because they knows how is the situation of the club and the dress room, because you cannot sign it one player that win a lot of money, and other, the balance of the economy in the dress room is very important for the club. But normally, the clubs say this is the condition, and you fight the points of the contract that you think that is better for the player. It's like, I don't know, like other deal. If you buy one house, you fight, because it's normal. Some points is good for you, and other points is bad, and you need to change the bad points.
And away from the salary and the figures of the contract and everything, it's well publicised that Llorente's contract is for 4 years. Was that something that Leeds suggested, or was it something you were trying to push for?
Dice que es público que el contrato de Llorente son 4 años. ¿Fue algo que sugirió el club o que tú empujaste para que fuese así? ¿O era la intención del jugador?
No, the club say 4 years, and we say, yes, okay, it's perfect. Okay, it's the agreement at the first moment in this point.
Yeah. And how much of a difference does the length of a contract make to the player in modern day football? Because it will be extremely rare if Llorente stays at Leeds for 4 years without signing another contract. So what difference does the length of the deal make?
Bueno, eso en inglés. Y que yo creo que los 4 años obedecen a la amortización del fichaje. Que al pagar traspaso por él, pues que tal. No tiene nada que ver con el rendimiento del jugador, sino con la amortización del fichaje. No sé cómo se dice amortización.
Sí, bueno, no sé exactamente la palabra tampoco, pero at the end of the day, it has something to do with the rentability of the transfer itself. That's why when you make a transfer and you pay some money, you try to have a good rentability between the years, and that's why they decided to do it for 4 years, and Gelu and the player immediately agreed about this length.
And obviously you played a big part in transfers, but there's obviously been a few negative stories within football about agents recently. Most notably with Paul Pogba and Mino Raiola, with Raiola making some comments about Pogba leaving Manchester United and seemingly being quite confident with controlling with his player, and not for the first time either, because he's quite publicly in the news for all the wrong reasons. As an agent, how controlling are you with your clients about wanting to move to the club? Because Raiola has been like that for quite a while, and sometimes it gives football agents in general quite a bad reputation.
Well, I think that when agent can control, 99% of his players is possible, but they are young people. It's difficult, a lot of pressure. The fans, no every situation are we are happy and every situation no is beautiful because the players has injuries, have problem with the family, and one agent work like one system, other like other system. I cannot say that Mino Raiola is bad agent because I am crazy. This is the top player, the top agent in the world. The 3, 4, 5 agents, the top agents. But he has his method. He has his method. I am my method. Other has his method. ¿Lo estoy diciendo bien, Diego? Que cada uno tiene su método. And this is the more important thing. You work like Mino is top. Good for Mino.
But back to yourself and Leeds, and as we've just talked about, Marcelo Bielsa is Leeds' head coach. And how influential was Marcelo Bielsa for Llorente's arrival at Leeds? Because like you said, he was interested from him at his time at Lazio, and he's well renowned for improving players that he works with.
Yeah, a lot, because when one player stay with Marcelo, this player, he can fly. He can fly them. That you work with Marcelo is a master class in football. I like it, and the players knows that the Marcelo has a good mentality and his ¿cómo se dice capacidad?
His skills, the capabilities
his skills for
is
very strong, and the player improve, very high.
And Diego has returned to Spain's national side this past year as well. So do you, and as well as Diego himself, believe that with Bielsa's guidance, he can begin to feature more regularly in the national side alongside his fellow teammate Rodrigo?
We hope. If Diego play good for the national team, is good, because Luis Enrique likes Diego, but Diego needs to play good for Leeds, and then he can move to Eurocup or World Champion, or I don't know.
And just lastly, although Diego joined Leeds in September, he's had quite a bad time with injuries recently, and he's only played one game for the club, which was away at Chelsea the other week. So because of that, how would you describe him as a player to the Leeds fans who haven't properly watched him yet? And how well do you think he will do in England in the Premier League?
Well, I think that Diego is a centre back, very fast, very, very, very fast, very intelligent. With the ball, he has very good quality. He has a very good pass, very good technique for the long distance. I think that the best Diego is, in 2-3 months, because dile que él empieza poco a poco y que luego al final acaba dando su rendimiento a medio plazo, se va a ver el mejor Diego.
He says that in the long run you will see the best version of Diego. It's true that at the beginning he struggled a bit with the injuries, but he's usually it's a part of Diego's too, that he's starting step by step, but then immediately he makes the jump, and so he's the best version.
Yeah, of course. And that ends today's episode. Thank you so much both for your time and talking to us about Diego Llorente's transfer.
No problem. Thank you.
We'll be back next week with another guest. Stay tuned for the post over on our LUFC Fanzone Instagram later in the week. Thanks for listening.